everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Being Mary Jane Season 4, Episode 19, which was titled Feeling Seen. And I think we have one more episode to go, and we're done for the season. So let's go ahead and get into the recap. When the last episode ended, Justin was letting Mary Jane know that he was on his way home from Paris. And so, of course, when he gets in, they got to get all passionate and catch up on, lost time together. And so she tells him, that she's changed a lot since he's been gone, because she didn't have that whole situation with her mama and daddy and revelations that, people aren't always what they seem. So, they have that little moment. Justin tells her, she ain't got nothing to worry about. So when she gets to work, Mary Jane, she tells Cara, that Justin doesn't look at her when they make love. And I think that's very important because you want the person that you're making love with to actually be into you and to care about you. So she's feeling like, Justin is really distant and that he may not really be in love with her or care about her. And so, Cara tells her, stop worrying, that she can tell that Justin really does care about Mary Jane. Mary Jane tells Cara that caring is very nice, but we both know it takes a lot more than that to go the distance. So Mary Jane stopped looking for trouble where there is none. So Justin stops by to let Mary Jane know that Simone's sister, Tiffany, will be trying to get in touch with her because she wants Mary Jane to talk him out of donating all of his $30 million. Now, I'm trying to understand, why is it Tiffany's business? Like, does Tiffany want the money? Why, if he doesn't want the money, give it to Tiffany and let Tiffany do with the money what she wants to do. But we're going to follow along with this storyline and see where it goes. Mary Jane and Justin were having this conversation. Ty was in there because he was doing Mary Jane's hair. And so he was like, he passed out when he heard, I don't know if he completely passed out or if he was just like, because when I first saw it, I thought he was joking because he was in shock, that these people were having this conversation about giving away $30 million like it was $30. So Ty was looking at them like they was crazy. So then later on, Mary Jane and Justin, they go and they check in on Ty to make sure he's okay. And he says that, he is, and that he only passed out because he didn't eat after his spin class. So Justin leaves to get Ty a medic, and Ty tells Mary Jane, don't let Justin get that money away. And so she tells him that she's on it because she ain't planning on letting that money go either, because she needs to be vacationing in the Hamptons with Obama. Then we have a scene where Mary Jane and Justin, they're at a bar, and so Mary Jane tells Justin that she responded to Tiffany's invitation to hang out, even though he told her not to, and then Tiffany walks in. So Justin looking at them like, oh my God, two conniving women. So he gets up and he goes over to the bar because they were actually sitting like at a table, and then he goes over to the bar to get him some privacy to talk. Before he went to the bar, Tiffany lets him know that Simone left him the money so that he could enjoy his life, not give it all away. And that Simone, left her a lot of money also. And so she shows Justin and Mary Jane like photos of her vacation house, and that she uses with her husband and kids, and telling them that you deserve the same lifestyle, and don't be so uptight about the money. So after that, Justin goes over to the bar and leaves the two of them alone. And so Tiffany tells Mary Jane that she believes that Justin isn't over Simone. And I'm just like, that whole little storyline was so crazy to me and didn't make any sense, because if Tiffany got money from Simone, why would she care what Justin is doing with his money? And then why would she come into their relationship and then tell Mary Jane, I think he's still in love with Simone? Because if he's still in love with Simone, then that limits his ability to fall in love with Mary Jane. And so she also tells Mary Jane that Simone wasn't a saint. She wasn't perfect. So don't let Justin put that in your head, and that she'd be on her second divorce now if she hadn't died. I'm like, oh, where did Simone come? Where did Tiffany come from? Like, okay, whatever. When Mary Jane and Justin get back to her place, they argue about, how he hasn't really moved on from Simone because, Tiffany done planted that seed. Then Justin decides to bare his soul, and he tells Mary Jane that Simone wasn't this strong person. She was actually very weak. And because she refused treatment for her cancer, and he says that in the end she was just a coward. And so Justin tells Mary Jane that Simone asked him to assist her in her own suicide and help her end her suffering, and he did so by cranking up her pain medication. So Justin feels guilty for doing, helping her with the suicide, and that's really why he doesn't want the money. And then Mary Jane is like standing there looking at him. I'm like, okay, how is she going to respond to this information? But then, she lets him know that he did the right thing, because he cared and loved for Simone and didn't want her to suffer. And then the two of them end up, laying down together. But I'm sure in the back of Mary Jane's mind, she probably thinking, this would be a good story idea, like sympathy killing, like when a loved one is suffering and there's no end in sight, would you kill that person? And that's a good question to ask, because I know when my dad was dying and they were going to take him off the life support, I couldn't do it. My mom, she was like, okay, we're going to turn it off at 7 o'clock. And I just could not do it. I couldn't stand it. And to this day, I thank God that I had left to go home and take a shower and change. And once I got home, they called me and told me to hurry up and come back because all his vitals had been dropping. And so I believe to this day that my dad was waiting on me to leave that hospital room so he could go and check out and bear me that burden of having to watch them disconnect the life support. And I'm probably teary-eyed right now, but I just don't think that that is something that I could do to anyone. And I know they say you do it out of love for the person and compassion for the person, but I just don't think that I could be the one that could determine that, okay, we're going to turn life support off, or we're going to give this person medication that's going to cause their death. So if you're listening to me and you're one of my family members or one of my friends, don't ask me to be that person, because I can't honor that wish for you. But then we had the scene where Mary Jane, tells Justin that she wants to get to know Tiffany better, but he asks her, not to do that. Just let Tiffany be in the past, because he really wants to forget about Simone and their relationship and that it ever happened. And then Justin goes to see Tiffany, and she asked him, if he would love Mary Jane if she wasn't a well-known anchor. And then Justin lets her know that he's not with Mary Jane because of her fame. He's with her because he really does care about her. And then when he gets back home, he lets Mary Jane know that he's decided to keep the money, that he's not going to give it away. And I'm sure that made Mary Jane very, 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 very 3 million or 30 million times happier to hear that if her and Justin end up together, that she got $30 million that she could squander on, new bags and shoes and a house and a lifestyle that she's always longed for. We move over to Dan. So later on in the show, Danny approaches Cara and rejects covering a story that Cara had presented to her about AIDS. And Danny says that she has way too many followers to be able to discuss the topics that she isn't passionate about. So she needs to be on the air talking about things that matter to her. And people with AIDS is not one of those things. So Cara goes back and tells Mary Jane, about her conversation with Danny, and then the two of them see this guy sitting in Garrett's chair in his office. So now they're wondering who it is, and then Justin lets them know that the guy's name is Pete Benswanger, and he used to run the amusement park division of GDU. So I guess the network got an amusement park somewhere. So then Mary Jane feels that, it's a form of white privilege that this guy will be able to just move into Garrett's position. And, Justin pretty much agrees and lets her know that Pete is really out of the box, and he's like an overconfident white male who used to run a local television stations before doubling the profits at the theme park. So he really needs to be over that theme park and not trying to run this TV station. And so Cara adds in that, he has no national news experience. And then Mary Jane was like, well, it sounds like an election I seem to recall, referring to Trump being made president of the United States. So Cara says that Pete will most likely secure Garrett's job if they don't do something to get him out. And so they get to plotting and conniving and coming up with a plan that's going to not only get Pete out of a job, but get Danny out of there also. And Mary Jane says that she thinks she has the perfect story, for Danny to do. But then that means that Cara and Justin have to work together, to make everything run smoothly and so that their plan will work. And then they end up going to a bar or to have lunch or something, to discuss their plan and everything. And two of them can't get along because they always arguing and carrying on. So then when Pete shows up, they tell him, oh, we got this great idea, the story for Danny. And then at first Pete says that, he doesn't think it's a good story. But then when they have their meeting where they all get together to talk about story ideas, he pipes up and says, oh, Danny, I got this great story for you. And then he pitches the story that Cara and Justin had presented to him at the bar. And then, of course, Danny's feeling all special, so she jumps at the opportunity to be able to do the story. So what it turns out to be is interviewing this lady named Marcy, who is a blogger, and she also renovates old homes in, I think in the Midwest somewhere. And Danny's all excited about doing it because she's thinking that these are her people. This is her part, her territory in the country that she most appeals to. So then when they get into the interview and they're live on air, the conversation turns because, Cara's in the earpiece telling Danny what to say. And so they direct the conversation to where Marcy says that she uses a lot of refugees to help renovate the homes. And then she confirms that the people are from Syria and, countries in the Middle East that have been displaced. And Danny almost had a heart attack. So then she was asking Marcy, aren't you afraid that these people could turn out to be terrorists? And then Marcy was like, no, not at all. These people are just looking for opportunities. They're looking for a safe haven. And, they have really built this community up. And, they're really good people. And then she, keeps going on about how great these people are. And then Danny messed around and said, okay, well, if you feel that good about them and they're doing all that good, I guess it can't be that bad for America. So when that interview ended, all Danny's people, they were writing in and they was all upset, saying that Danny was changing her views and that the television station was turning her into a liberal. And so now she pissed off and she goes in to cuss Pete out for setting her up. And then it worked out the way that Mary Jane and the crew thought that it was going to work out. When all the dust settled, Pete was no longer in the running for Garrett's old job, and because of his old argument with Danny, and then of course they had the people on the staff, getting involved and kind of pushing the whole agenda along. And so she tells Justin and Cara that she recommended that Garrett's replacement be someone within the GDU family. So Cara tells Mary Jane that her nightly special is in trouble because they lost Michelle Obama as a guest. So we knew that was coming. And it turns out that the Pete guy, he had all the specs for the special. And so he sold the idea to Oprah. So now Oprah was going to do the story in exchange for Pete becoming some kind of director or something over Oprah's live streaming service. I'm just like, who is writing these storylines, coming up with all this crazy stuff? But I'm here for it. So then Justin tells Mary Jane, not to worry about the nightly special because they will survive. And when he gets Garrett's old job, she will have nightly specials every week. So I'm like, okay, let the party begin. Like here, Cara and Justin gonna be coming at Mary Jane like she's gonna be like queen for a day until that position is filled. Mary Jane is hanging out with Aaliyah and Ty. She gets a call from Garrett, and so Garrett is feeling bad about the fact that she lost the her special that she was going to do with Michelle Obama. And to make up for that loss, he lets her know that he's convinced the top executives to allow her to take a vote or have a vote on who should replace him in that position. So any other day this would have been good news, but for Mary Jane it is not, because now she got to choose between the man of her dreams and her best friend who's always had her back. So I don't know if we're going to get resolution in the next episode or we're going to have to wait until the next season to see what Mary Jane decides to do. So now let's move on over to Atlanta because we had some little things going on over there. So Neicy comes back into the picture because we ain't seen Neicy in a couple of weeks. So her and Patrick are talking and getting called up. And so Neicy tells Patrick that she's been having problems with Amika and that Amika hasn't been dependable, because they're doing that whole baby share thing where they agree to watch each other kids. And so she says that she's been asked to open up the shop by Claudia and she needs to take the kids to Amika's earlier, but she can't depend on Amika to answer the door, half the time when she shows up. So Neicy believes that the new car seat business is becoming too much for Amika, and Patrick tells Neicy that he's very proud of her for even coming up with the idea and trying to help Amika out, but you can lead the camel to water, but you can't make it drink. So she's done her part and she can't be beating herself up about it. So then Papa Patterson comes in, Patrick still got his little attitude. I'm just sitting there saying to myself, like, how you living in somebody else's house and gonna have an attitude with them? But Papa Patterson giving him his time and his space. He asked him, did they want anything for breakfast? And, Patrick had a little attitude and everything. So when Papa Patterson leave the room, Neicy, have to get on her daddy and let her daddy know that he is being totally out of order and that she ain't gonna be standing by allowing him to be treating her granddaddy like that because he has taken care of her kids, Patrick, and everybody else, and he deserves a little more respect. And I agree with that, Neicy. Then she also lets Patrick know that he's making, like, this whole rift between the two of them is making life very uncomfortable in the house. So I'm like, okay, well, all y'all can get out of Papa Patterson's house. Like, ain't nobody telling y'all that y'all got to be there. Like, what's wrong with y'all? So anyway, on her way to Amika's place, Neicy, Claudia calls Neicy and tells her that Amika never dropped off the rented car seat to the shop for one of the clients, a girl named Shauna, and that the chick is really upset. And so Claudia warns Neicy that, word of mouth is very important and that Amika's business will get a bad reputation if she keeps up her antics. So before hanging up, she tells Neicy that she won't refer anyone else to Amika's little business until she gets her stuff together. So when Neicy gets to Amika's house, she finds out that there is some man at the house that she don't know. She ain't never seen this man before. So the guy tells Neicy, that he's been helping, he's a neighbor and he's been helping Amika with the kids. And so Neicy was like, I know doggone well this girl ain't been leaving my doggone kids with some random stranger that I don't know. So of course she is pissed and ready to get up in Amika's behind. So then Amika comes strolling in with some other dude named Cedric. So like, okay, so you got some random man watching the kids, then you got some other man just hanging around the house. And so Neicy had to pull her to the side and let her know that she was totally out of order, that she had done all she could to help her, and that it was time for Amika to stand on her own. And so she was like, you can't watch my kids, and I'll watch your kids for whatever day that was coming up. She said, but after that, you on your own, sister. I can't deal with this because you're going to be jeopardizing my kids. Somebody be around here killed or molest one of my children. I was just like, I thought Amika was better than that, but she, acting like just some basic random. And it's really sad because Neicy was really on her side and pulling for her. So Neicy, she get her kids and she gone on back to the house. So she's telling Patrick, about everything that happened. And so this, kind of gets Patrick to thinking like, it ain't got that many people you can depend on. So you need to be nice to the ones that you can. So then we have a scene with Patrick and the Jevon guy. And so there's some tension going on between the two of them. And throughout their whole little interaction and everything, we learned that Jevon, who was very upset with the Black Lives Matter guy, Del Ray McPherson or McKeeson or whatever his name is. Remember when he was on the show earlier, the guy Jevon was talking about the fact that he was gay and why the gay people taking over the Black Lives Matter movement. Well, lo and behold, Mr. Jevon is gay. So I'm like, but I don't know if he one of them people that don't want to be gay, because he seems to have a lot of anger and hatred towards his whole situation. And so Patrick called him kissing a boy, but then Patrick, he was just like, man, I'll be in the car if you still need a ride. So the two of them get to talking, and Patrick lets him know that, he's not going to judge him, that he got to live his life and he can't live in shame and all of that. And I think that was basically it. Then the show, their scene ended out with Patrick and Papa Patterson mending their fences because a pipe broke at Jevon's apartment. And so Patrick invited him to come and stay at their house, which I thought was kind of hella crazy, because you're not talking to your daddy, but then you're going to bring somebody to your daddy's house without asking your daddy permission. But you mad at your dad. Like, that was crazy to me. But, that led to a conversation between him and Papa Patterson. And Papa Patterson, told him that, he's going to always be his son and that he loved him. And then the two of them hugged it out. So all is well. Now we just got to get Mama Patterson to mend fences with Papa Patterson, get her butt on back over in that house and act like she got some sense. So that was it for Being Mary Jane, guys. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Just a lot of craziness going on. Wasn't like a really great episode, but we'll take it. Leave your comments below, rate the video, subscribe to the channel, and please share it on your social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. And until the next time, I hope everyone enjoys their weekend, and I should talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.